Okay, so I'll be going through some of the pick concepts. So first thing, we have errors. So we have a lot of errors in this code. So the first thing you have to understand when you're dealing with assembly language is columns. So you have four columns. They have to know what goes in each column because your columns have to be arranged in a certain order. So if you try to build with the wrong order, you'll literally get errors all the time. So the first thing is column one. Column one is basically just for names. So you use to mark the name of a location in the code if needed. So you can think of this as the name of a function or just naming any section of the code in this in ASM is one called routines. The routines are just do something I want it to do. So if you want to put a name, just name it anything. A line of code, that will normally go in column one. The other column is the opcode or just the instruction. So it just represents the actual instruction that you want the microcontroller to execute. So this must be a valid pick assembly instruction. So the pick knows when you put these things in, what column it's supposed to be in. So if you put it in the wrong column, it will just throw off the entire code. So if you actually go into the manual, these are some outputs that you will most likely learn how to use. Now what it does, so when you type in these things, it knows what you are talking about. So if it's in the wrong column, it will cry and it will give you back warnings and errors. Say I don't know what column is supposed to be or the correct one that is. So after column 2, you have column 3, which is the operand, and the operand is just the argument for the instruction. So basically, it's the register, the destination register, the literal value of the memory location. So it can be a constant, a register, or just so simple. If you have an instruction that says to add two numbers, the next column, in this case, might be where you want to put it, or where you take any value from, right? Or what you're actually trying to add, depending on what opcode you use. So which will go through example. So and then the other column is where a comment will go. And to do a comment, use a semicolon, and it should be green, and you go ahead. So just to recap, you have four columns in ASM. The first column is where names go and go. The second one is your directive or your opcode. The column 3 is your operands, and column 4 is where your comments will go. Column 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a short example. So I wanted to name this line a code. So I name it, well, UHP, right? So the name. Then the opcode is the add LW. So you notice the color change. So this instruction means adding a literal value to the working register. Yeah, and then the operand, which is the address or the register, is 5 in hexadecimal, right? And the comments will be to survive. So this is basically an example of how the code runs, columns separated correctly. You have the name, opcode, operand, and comments. So just remember these: the instruction, the argument for the instruction, and then you should be good in terms of the columns. So as you'll learn more directives and opcodes, you'll understand more how to code it. So that is the first example. So let me try to fix this code. So if I have to try to build it, so I just click this down arrow here and it build. So it will give you errors. But you have to scroll up to actually see what the errors are on top here. So if I actually click it, it will carry it to where the errors are. So first thing I'll do is just comment all this because that was just an example. So when you're typing up ASM code, there are some stuff that you have to do. So the first thing you list and the include, you must memorize this. This is very important. Some people might be using different picks, so you might have to memorize a different pick number. But your list and include is always the first things that you have to write in. Then is your configs, which is the same for everyone. You don't need to memorize this, you just need to know what you might have to change. So the stuff you might have to change is the external clock or the crystal oscillator, and what else all you might have. I think that's mostly all. When you all start like bigger projects, you might have to edit these, but you don't need to memorize like typing this from scratch. There's no reason to do that, especially for this course. So after your configs is your setup for your memory, so where your code will start in memory, and then obviously after this you have some space, there's your main routine, and then just like C++, you have an end. So as I said, if you try to build this, you have errors. So the first thing we need to do is do this what we learn here with the columns. So something cool, tab. When you press tab, it carries it to the right, and when you shift tab, it carries it to the left. So shift tab left and tab is right. So I like to shift tab everything back. So list and include, those two things, they are opcodes. So they are not names. So you have to put it in the correct column. So you have to line up. Right. Then config as not a name. So that is most likely opcode. So tab it across to make sure everything line up. Right, so we have this at the bottom here. Right now this in the wrong column, because this most likely will fall under the operand section. So we have to backspace it back up. Let's take off that. Oh, the screen to direct. Yeah, so backspace this back also. It have to be in the correct column. Yeah, right. Then down here now, same idea. So it's not a name, so all is an opcode because you see in the operand after. Go-to is opcode also. And same thing for this one. Maybe I'll explain what these addresses mean soon, but it just tells the micro P controller where to start storing your code. Alright, this move is a name, so you could just name it main. So that's how I rename this main also. So there's a name. So this is a name. So this has to go in the first column. So let's make sure it's in the first column. And then end, obviously end is a output. So everything should be laid out in its correct column right now. So you try and build it. If it has more errors, you could always correct it. So the build was successful with no errors. So all in all, we went through columns. Make sure and notice. Learn your directives or your opcodes. You can find it in the pick. I think it's page 579. You can find all the opcodes that you could possibly see. And make sure you know them. Make sure you know all. Play around with it a couple times. So that'll normally go after if you have a name possibly. You don't always have to have a name, but you have to know what you're typing and what column it's supposed to be in. And all your comments go last. And when you're typing up or setting up to write your code, your list and include is always first. And you have to memorize it. Then your configs. And after your configs, you have these. So you're starting your memory at 0x00 and go to main and your org 0x05 and then your main program. And then your main code will go here and your end. So that is all in terms of columns and setting up the code. So the next one we'll go through like what this means really and like actually how to type up the code and stuff. But for now that's a good start. So you check. But you if you all want to sign up for the sessions, the link in the description at the bottom so you can check it out. So later.